Springfield Township. I'm here today to speak on behalf of myself and for my neighbors and friends about this Reinstating Common Sense School Discipline Policy executive order that was issued yesterday, where this administration suggested that schools should no longer collect, analyze, or adjust, looking at disciplinary practices and considering things like, are we seeing more disciplinary actions taken against students of color versus white students? And in fact, suggesting that doing such is some kind of equity ideology. And last I checked, equity meant fairness. I'm here to ask that Pennsbury reject this nonsense, that it's important to examine data and to look for trends. I think there's reams of evidence that racism does impact school disciplinary actions. And in fact, studies show that someone can be looking at the exact same behavior of two students, and a student of color is treated more harshly than a white student. To suggest otherwise, looking at all the racial disparity in school disciplinary actions is sort of suggesting that, to say that racism has absolutely nothing to do with it is suggesting that there's almost something inherent, that the reason we see these trends is something inherent in the race of the children, which I think is in itself racist and disgusting. I'm sorry to use that word disgusting, but I think it's immoral. It's probably what I mean. The other thing that was concerning is they sort of are redefining behavior modification techniques to mean, it says something that it's based on discriminatory equity ideology, whatever that means, since equity means fairness. But I think there's a suggestion that behavior modification or restorative justice or any other kinds of programs and ways of teaching teachers to teach that aren't based in a punitive approach, that there's something wrong with that. And in fact, the executive order goes on to say they want to start investigating nonprofits that try and teach behavior modification as a tool to help students learn to control themselves and to behave in school. I think on Holocaust Remembrance Day, it would be nice, and I wanted to share with all of you that one of the greatest thinkers of the last 100 years who did escape Nazi Germany, Albert Einstein, actually thought a lot about education and how to best help students become the best version of themselves. And he said, to me, the worst thing seems to be for a school principally to work with methods of fear, force, and artificial authority. Such treatment destroys the sincerity and the self-confidence of the pupil. It produces the submissive subject. It's no wonder that such schools are the rule in Nazi Germany and Russia. Just think about that. Then he goes on to say, give in to the power of the teacher the fewest possible coercive measures, so that the only source of the pupil's respect for the teacher is the human and intellectual qualities of the latter. I would just ask the school board to reject any kind of suggestion through the federal government that you turn away from, and I've listened to all the programs that you have going that help children learn how to control their behavior. It's meditation, all of those things, in favor of some kind of punitive, harsh approach, and that you continue to collect data and analyze it for evidence of subconscious bias, which do exist. And I also just want to thank you all, like I did last time, for your hard work here as the board and your patience.
Thank you so much. Thank you.